What's up, folks? Today is May 19th, and this is this week's review for Impact Wrestling on AXS TV. So this is my weekly review, and I'm kind of going to revamp things a little bit as I continue to cover Impact in the future. So if you have any suggestions on how you may want me to be able to do this, or other ideas and creative processes that I can probably do, let me know. Hit me up in the comments. Reach out to me on social media and say, hey, I would like if you did this or if you covered it in that way. And obviously for the people who has been watching my reviews and supporting, I totally appreciate that. And you know, as long as we got support, we're going to keep pushing for sure. But so this week, ton of good matches. A little bit all over the place with matches, to be honest, and as well as the card was is how, you know, each match were progressed throughout the show. The big thing obviously is that there's no knockouts matches today, because with all the success they had in the last few weeks with debuts and just good quality matches, you know, I was surprised not one. But I will say this really quickly, like Kiera Hogan and Tasha Steelz, that gave me chills seeing the two of them on screen. Again, seeing these two people work all over the indies and, you know, finally being on television together at that, that was pretty dope. But the fact that they are going to be, well, I think teaming up, or, you know, Kiera Hogan's going to take Tasha under her tutelage, that could be interesting. So I'm very curious to see how that goes. Kiera has been doing some really good vignettes, you know, in the last couple of weeks, and with Tasha just debuted, and I'm just very curious to see how that is going to go. Yes, you can sign me up for that all day, every day. But you know, Ace Austin replacing Ken Shamrock for the #1 Contenders tournament. You know, Ken Shamrock was attacked obviously last week, and now Ace Austin's going to face Rhino. That's cool and all, and I'm an Ace Austin fan, but I think I for some reason I was really invested in a Ken Shamrock and Rhino match. I don't know, I was really, when I looked at the tournament slate, I was like, I want to see how that plays out, and I definitely want to see how they're going to book that, you know what I mean? So I definitely was curious. I'm a little bit disappointed that didn't, you know, that didn't come to fruition, but it is what it is. But I will say, based on last week, I talked about Crazzy Steve. He officially did re-sign with Impact, so that's awesome. But I was talking about what was going to happen with him and OVE. Obviously, he picked up a good win, and you know, Crazzy Steve is looking good, and you know, he had so much success with Decay back in the day. I'm just wondering what's going to happen next with him and his creative processes, because we know he's always got something on his mind. But the bigger story to talk about here is OVE not picking up another win, but getting another L, and they just have been kind of in shambles since not having a leader. And then Madman Fulton quitting? I mean, first of all, the sky's the limit for Madman Fulton. So I am very intrigued to see where that goes now. But how are they going to work him now? Is he, I mean, Sami is, you know, out of OVE, but he's still kind of, you know, with the thumbs up, thumbs down. I know that's his thing, but like, that's also kind of something that really drove OVE as well. But I don't know. Now Madman Fulton just on an island of his own. It's not that I think he can't, you know, but it's just the idea of like, what are they going to do? I'm super curious about that. But yeah, the Dave Crist and the Dave Crist and Crazzy Steve match was very, very solid. I thoroughly enjoyed that. And then obviously we got Moose and Suicide Part 2, which was a good match. But I you know, the one thing I'm really curious is like, who is playing Suicide right now? Because TJP having a match right before that, is he who used to play Suicide, as far as I know? There's no way he's double dipping here. He's not back to backs with matches. That would be interesting. But you know, the other thing is too, I'm kind of over Josh Matthews, like, you know, hackling Moose about the TNA championship and saying it's not a real championship, whatever it may be. I think that story needs to be played out solely on Moose, and not that whole interview segment of just Josh's badgering him. I'm not a fan of that. You know, I like what Moose is doing with it, and with Tessa not being on the screen, you know, a lot of people are investing in storylines with championships. So I think, you know, Moose, who's never held a singles championship, if you want to count this one, then, you know, count it. But it's interesting to see how he solely can, you know, captivate that championship picture when there's no one, when he's the lonely man on top. At least, that's the mentality that he's going off of. So I'm definitely curious to see how that plays out. But I'll be good if like Josh just left that alone. But coming up next, I think Willie Mack winning the S Division Championship. I knew that division was just only going to get crazier after that win. Because there was just so many different pieces of the puzzle there. Ace seems to be looking on to different things. But okay, so Johnny Swinger and Chris Bay kind of teaming up and taking out Matt. I don't know. First of all, Chris Bay going heel. There's something more here that I'm not seeing just yet, and I'm just curious to see how that goes. I'm a Chris Bay fan, so I need the Chris Bay and Willie Mack feud going on, and Swinger being a part of it, maybe not. I just got to see how that all plays out. I'm not sure. And then as always, he didn't have his back this time, but there's always Willie Mack having backup that potentially. Do we get a 2-on-2 here? I'm just not sure, but obviously we gotta wait till what's the face gets healthy again. So. Lastly, but not least, the main event. So let's talk about Big Mike's promo right now.
We live in a weird world where everybody stands there with their hands out begging and pleading, waiting for somebody to give them everything they've ever wanted. But that isn't how the world works. So you gotta put in the work. So when I say I am the best, when I say I will be Impact World Champion, you hate it. But I remember a time when Muhammad Ali said he would knock everybody out and be the greatest boxing heavyweight champion, and you hated it. I remember a time when Conor McGregor said he was going to be the best fighter that there ever was, and you hated it. But when all is said and done, and you look back on history, you will love them. Just like me. When all is said and done, you'll learn to appreciate who and what I am. And you'll love me. And Ken Shamrock, man, you got some balls on you. You come in here talking about the Impact World Championship, and I laid you out. See, the world's most dangerous man learned that you're only dangerous unless somebody that's unbreakable comes around. And Sami, you like to talk a lot. But when the time for talking is done, you gotta stand in front of me and learn. Words don't hurt, but Michael Elgin does. I have said time and time again, I will be Impact World Champion. And what I say happens.
Impact Wrestling, tonight, 8/7 Central on AXS TV.
And by the way, I've said, what's his name? Rich Swann, obviously. We'll see what happens when he's able to return to the ring. But Big Mike. So Big Mike's been talking a lot right now, whether it's the social media or just on Impact Television. And, you can talk all you want as long as you're backing it up. And he damn sure backed it up tonight with his match against Sami Callihan. It was a very solid match. And at a point, too, I was actually buying Sami Callihan's injury because he was selling it like no other. But Big Mike was just too powerful enough for him. So Big Mike, moves on in the tournament. And again, I said before, it felt like the Hunger Games. Why is he even in the tournament? He was already the number one contender, and he didn't face nobody that he was supposed to face in the match. So, there's been a lot of really questionable things with this number one contenders championship. So somebody just jumping in there and somebody replacing it, it's just I don't really get how certain people were eligible for it and certain people wasn't. So it is what it is. I'm just going to see how that plays out over the next few weeks. But yes, for this week's episode, it was okay. There wasn't a lot of excitement, and they really surely had a lot in the last couple of weeks. But I think, there is a lot of little shifting puzzles that's going on this week that's, has me intrigued to see how things are going to play out in the future. And, Su Yung re-signing is really good. Crazzy Steve coming back is good. So the Impact roster is still continuing to build. I don't think they're done potentially. I think there could be a couple of more people that may be making their debut soon because they've been on the roll And I'm loving how they're giving people opportunities, and I'm loving the storytelling that they're doing. You know, it's like Big Mike, you know, they were saying how he wasn't content in New Japan, he wasn't content in ROH, so he's here. I mean, for me, that invests me into not only just the character, but the brand, because it's just like, well, you know, if these people are leaving these other promotions and they come in here, it's got to be for a reason. So they're doing a really good, solid, a good solid job on that. Oh, and I can't even believe I forgot about this. The North, finally, they're gonna get real. They're gonna get real contenders for their championship, the tag championships next week. So we'll see how that goes, because they've been fooling around the last couple of weeks. And although we didn't get a lot of funny this week, it looks like they're gonna get back to business next week. So I'm very curious to see how that goes. But this is my review for this week. Again, people, let me know in the comments if you have suggestions on how I can better these reviews or get you more engaged, or what can I do to get you more interested in watching Impact. Let me know. And it would definitely be noted, and I would try each and every week to deliver better and better content for you guys. But that is all for tonight, and I will catch you guys next week for more coverage.
I